Travel can be a real hassle. I don't care where you're flying, from Idaho to Nebraska, from Ohio to California, or from New York to where I'm at in Varna, Bulgaria. And that's why today on the Coach Casey channel, we're going to talk about 17 ways to have a smooth and enjoyable journey. And stick around for the last one because it's a very interesting change in the federal law that you're going to want to know about, that I've already heard a lot of people complain about. So let's get started on our journey and talk about some tips and tricks that you can do to remain calm and try to enjoy the misery of airplane flying. The first thing that I try to do, and I've traveled a lot, I've been traveling for 40 years within the United States and outside the United States, and I don't think I've seen it all yet, but I've seen some pretty miserable moments because of weather and people and you name it, delays. So how do you survive this? Well, the first thing is to plan ahead. For example, there is some percent of chance, I don't know what it is, and if you're hearing any extra noise, there's some guys working down the street here in Varna. I don't know what the percent is, but there's a chance your flight's going to be late or canceled. And what I try to do is understand that I have hops. I go from point A to point B. I'm going to sit for a while and I'm going to get to point C if I'm using other than a direct flight, which usually costs more. And so I try to understand what is available just in case there is a cancellation. Can I put myself on another airline and get where I want to go? Or do I need to find a local hotel? Don't use the one the airline's going to give you because it's going to be a cheap ragtag hotel. Find something that you can reach close to the airport so you have accommodations and you can deal with that what if something goes wrong. All right, that's the first tip. Let's go to the second one. Second tip is keep in touch with your flight. Let's say you're leaving on a vacation in July, you buy your tickets in June. As July rolls around, there's sites like flightradar.com that can track a flight while it's going along and help relatives and people that are anticipating picking you up at the airport follow you if they know your flight number, as in terms of whether you're online or not. And if you fly on a particular airline, they usually have flight status on their website and keep your flight confirmation number and check to see if it's late or not. And make sure that you enable texting so they can text you with any messages about gate changes or flight changes to save your frustration. Let's go on to number 3. Third tip is regarding our fear of lost luggage. That's the moment when we all get the moment of truth, when we're standing there at baggage claim and we're waiting for our bags. So you always have a personal carry that you can put under your seat, a check bag that you can put up above, that's a carry-on you can put up above, or a check bag that you're going to suffer at the baggage claim about. So what I usually do is I keep within my carry-on some personal items that might get me through, such as a change of clothing, medications, anything that I'm going to need toiletry-wise. That way, if the baggage is delayed or lost, you've got a survival kit. And please, 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 when you get when you tag your bag to go through, keep that boarding pass baggage receipt so that they can barcode it and find it at customer service. Otherwise, you're describing it's like a large black bag and it's made out of leather, and so are about 6,000 other ones. And I also tie some colored tape around the handles, or I see people do ribbons and whatnot, something that you can make it different and you can find it on the baggage claim coming in faster, and that way you're prepared to get it off and get out. You might want to take this next one, item number 4. Again, if you're hearing anything out here, we got people working. If you're going on a long trip, make sure that you wear loose clothing. Don't wear tight jeans. Shorts are kind of gross, to be honest with you. I really don't like examining other people's body hair when I'm on a trip. But, loose workout pants, loose workout shirt, if you got a flight of like 5 hours or more, is really going to help you out. And keep along a pair of slippers if the airlines doesn't give you one. Getting through airport security, oh my Lord, it's like going through the birth canal, isn't it? It's really a hassle. So be prepared. There's nothing worse than running up against a person in front of you who doesn't know they got to take off their shoes, take their laptop out, or loses some personal item because they're just throwing stuff in tubs. You know, prepare yourself in line. Have a little shoulder strap bag or something to put in your wallet, and do not put your passport in the little tub. Make sure you got a collection of all those important travel documents in an organized area as you go through security. And don't fight the system by trying to block everything off by getting organized at the last minute, particularly if you have children. I know that's a source of irritation when you're standing in security line. So you got plenty of time. I don't care if you're TSA, you know, preferred, or if you're standing in line with the rest of us. You have time to get organized before you get there, and you will have to take off your belt and all those kinds of good things. And remember, the TSA people are only doing their job. They don't hate you. So make it easy for them to get through quickly and successfully through that onerous experience that we all go through. If you're doing an American flight, they're going to feed you like a squirrel. You're going to get a bag of nuts, maybe a cup of coffee. Otherwise, you're going to pay through the nose for a Pepsi or Coke or Sprite, whatever they have. So the important thing to do is, in preparation for your flight, stay hydrated, okay? Stay hydrated. Don't eat salty foods. Once you get on that plane, it's going to be some time before the flight crew can get to you. I've seen people dragging in pizzas and cheeseburgers, and that's just really stupid poison food. And it just makes you, you know, I need something to drink, and where's my flight attendant? Where are they at? How come they're not serving me? All right. So again, it's like the old scout, be prepared thing. Be prepared for your body needs and don't expect it. Now, on international flights, they're probably going to feed you a little bit better. Usually 2 hours after you take off, you get a meal, and 2 hours before you land. And during the middle of that is sleep time, and they usually darken the cabin. So stay hydrated on your flight. Here's a big choice. I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's a big choice. Window, center, aisle seat. I don't know. Depends. It's up to you. Like you might not be a big flyer, so a window seat is cool because you can see the scenery, and also you get a little headrest if you want to sleep. The aisle seat helps you get up and down faster and get to the restroom. And the middle seat basically is where we all suffer in between two strange people that they put next to us, and we have to deal with their body odors and everything else. So I would suggest, on a longer flight, I would suggest an aisle seat, particularly if it's a large plane with a middle section, because that's going to allow you the freedom to stand up. I know after 4 or 5 hours, I need to move, and an aisle seat helps me pop up when the pilot lets me get around the cabin, get to the restroom faster. And I don't mind if people have to make me get up to go someplace. It's okay. Let's keep going. Stick with me now. If you're an individual with disabilities, let the airline know ahead that you need a wheelchair or assistance getting on board. And we're going to talk about this later in the video, and I've got a surprise for you if you haven't experienced it yet about pre-boarding. But if you let the ticket agent know when you're checking in, or you have your own personal wheelchair, let that ticketing agent know, and they will accommodate you so that you can go on in pre-board, and they can assist you in getting off. So let's say you're flying from New York and you want to end up in Madrid, but you've got to stop over someplace, let's say in Luxembourg, and there's a problem and a delay, and you want to contact your family, but you go outside and you understand that your cell phone does not have an international calling plan. So sometimes you can hook up to the airport's wireless and your phone would work, and sometimes it doesn't, okay? So you might want to check with your phone carrier before you leave and get on an international calling plan that'll work anywhere in the world. It's going to cost you a little bit it's going to cost you a little bit more, but it's going to save you a lot of hassles. And you can always turn it off when you get back home. This way, if you're stranded in the city, you can call mom or dad or your kids or whatever and let them know what's going on with your travel. So international calling plan for your cell phone is going to be a great idea. I do it, works great. 10th tip is to understand the culture you're going to. Do a little research. I mean, we have ChatGPT now. We have Copilot. There's no excuse for not doing quick research into the country that you're going to. Let me give you an embarrassing example. I was flying through Istanbul one time, and I thought I saw the men's restroom because I saw the little icon for a man, and I saw an icon of a mosque right next to it. And what do I know? I'm a stupid American. So I go into the lavatory and find out that there's guys taking showers and they're on mats and they're praying. And it's actually a prayer room, okay? Oh, that was a little awkward. So I finally backed out of that and went across the terminal and found what I would consider a normal guy's restroom. So also, People have different concepts of space. Americans like a lot of space around us, but when you get into boarding in foreign countries, they can push and shove right past you and really piss you off. So take a deep breath and understand where you're at. And one time in Kuwait, there were a lot of prayer mats out in front of the gate. And actually, the Kuwait airport was very, very basic, surprisingly, compared to how rich the country was. But boarding was just everybody for themselves, all right? It was like, we are now boarding at gate so-and-so, and let's rock. All right, let's move to the next one. International flights, particularly if you're a rookie, you know that you're going to learn that there's a step called passport control. And even if you go overseas, they usually have it in their native language and passport control in English. And it'll say for, let's say you're going to Spain, it'll say for citizens of Spain and for foreign travelers in some method like that. And so you're going to end up in the line for the foreign traveler. And don't engage the passport control officer. Answer their questions. How long are you going to stay? Where are you staying? Are you bringing any money into the country? Yes or no, yes or no. Don't say, I'm coming to see my grandma because she had a heart attack and we're all worried about her. So we're going to spend 2 weeks at my cousin Louie's. And then you're just holding up the line. You're holding up the officer. They could care less. They have a series of checklists they have to go through to get you through and get the next person through. So you're not there for a cup of coffee break with them, and keep that in mind. The more you talk, the more you're going to get in trouble. So tip number 11 has to do with travel insurance. Maybe you need it, maybe you don't. On short flights, my flight's like 180 bucks. I don't bother with it, but if you're spending like $3,000, $4,000 on an international flight, travel insurance might work out. Keep in mind, it's not payment on the spot. If something goes wrong, no one's going to stand there and say, oh, you have insurance. You know, you got to keep all your documents and file a claim. So be prepared for that. So it's kind of misleading to think, oh, I'm going to get back the cost of this flight at the airport. No, you're not. You're not, okay? You're going to have to pay for your next flight, file the claim, and wait for your money, just like if you had your home insurance, same kind of deal. Changing currency. Okay. I'm going from America and I'm going to Canada, Mexico, wherever. Do not change your currency at the airport. It's going to be expensive. Wait, or prior to your trip, find out a banking institution in your local town that will change currency. But you're probably, if it's not like a euro or some other, a comfortable denomination, they're going to ask, like when I went to change for Bulgaria lev, I had to wait and go, and instead of going to the bank, I had to wait until I got into Bulgaria because the bank wanted 5 to 7 days to send me the exchanged money. And I'm like, phooey on that. I'm not going to do that. So I went ahead and exchanged it once I get into Bulgaria, and I went to a local bank, and it was snap, and it worked out great. Of course, obviously, if you're traveling within America, you don't need a passport, hallelujah. At least now, who knows what the world's going to change into these days. But for right now, we have the freedom to travel between our states without passports. God bless us. However, when you get overseas, your passport is gold. So protect your passport and make sure that you always have every document accessible. In some countries, you have to register, like Russia. If you go to Russia, you got to register within 3 days, I believe it is, to let them know you're in the country. Your passport is, again, this is your ticket to get home. And if you lose it, you're going to stay in that country, maybe even at that airport, until that issue is resolved, okay? So hang on to it for dear life. Always know where your passport, and take it with you wherever you go in the new country you are visiting or doing business in. Let's talk about one more little travel tip before we get to this federal law I want to discuss about, and that is the zen of travel. All right, you can stand in line and you can see the people that are going to make problems, who are irritated, bitching about everything, as if somehow the flight attendants and or the people in the terminal have anything to do. Again, excuse me if you're hearing a bunch of noise in the background. They don't have anything to do with it. They're just there doing their job. Practice mindfulness, relax, take a deep breath. Don't get upset. Don't get upset if there's noise while you're making a video, as if these people don't know how important I am. Just chill, you're gonna get there. Unless you do something really stupid, you are gonna get on that plane, you are gonna travel. And so just watch the world around you like it's a movie. Be calm, and be considerate, and you'll be fine. And I'm going to read this last one to you. It's Federal Law 14 CFR 382.93. And what that means is you can declare yourself disabled without any proof. So when you see the pre-boarding, hi, we're boarding business class, we're boarding golden members and silver members and platinum members and tuna fish members and military people and people with kids under 2 years old, I see teenagers with cell phones standing in the pre-board line. Maybe they're Master Elite and bought it, maybe they're not. Because you can buy a pre-board ticket now by just saying, I am disabled. I got in a hassle in Myrtle Beach Airport with an older lady who zipped right in front of the line, looking healthier than hell, expressed herself as a disabled person, got into a wheelchair, got on the plane early. It ain't fair, it's a federal law. Go talk to your congressman, but just understand that the airlines are gonna comply with this policy and there's nothing you can do about it. Let's wrap this up. No matter where you're flying, get yourself into that flying mentality. Expect the unexpected. Be prepared personally for your own safety and your own travel. Keep contingency plans available. Pack what you need. Don't worry about the people around you, even if they're crazy and screaming and yelling and bitching about everything. You just maintain your own island of sanity, and you're going to be okay. And if any of this resonated, please like and subscribe. And I'd love to hear your travel stories in the comments below and what you think are some tips people could use to enable them to have safe and sound travel. Otherwise, I'll see you in the future, and thanks for watching.